Hi guys, it's Lizzie here. So today I'm going to do a foundation review and first impression of the Bare Minerals BAREPRO Liquid Foundation. So this is £29 and it comes in 30 shades. I've got shade 2, which is Dawn, and it has SPF 20 in it, which is really lovely. All of the Bare Minerals foundations I think have SPF in. So I'll just read you what it says on their website. It says it is full coverage and it's a creamy liquid and it's naturally matte. It will apparently last 24 hours, but obviously I'm not going to test it for that long. It has good skin ingredients that won't clog the pores, and it works well in heat, humidity, it's water and sweat resistant, and the SPF 20 is a non-chemical version. So I'm quite looking forward to trying it. I do love Bare Minerals. There are some products that I find don't work quite as well. I used to really love their primer, the one that was yellow, the Neutralising Prime Time, but that got discontinued unfortunately. And I used the fair one for a while after that. Oh, I can see my own breath, it's so cold, but I am wearing a vest. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this because I've heard really good things about it online. So yeah, let's give it a go. For my primer today, I am going to use the Optical Illusion one from Urban Decay. So I'm going to put this all over. And it's basically like a pore filling primer, and I find that it doesn't make my dry skin more dry, which some can. So if you've not seen any of my videos before, my skin is generally dry, but then has a lot of scars from acne, a lot of redness. If you compare my chin, my double chin, to my neck, it's, you know, a completely different colour. And then I occasionally get blemishes. Like there's one on my forehead and there's a few here, and then some just like really red patches. I get redness around my nose, there's lots of broken capillaries, and then I have quite a lot of texture and pores on my cheeks and my chin. I am going to put a jumper on because it's a bit cold. Okay, so let's get this out of the box. She did try it on me in Debenhams, and it seemed to look fine. She tried it all the way down here, and you can't see that part of your face in a mirror, so I don't know. I couldn't see that it was a different colour, so I guess it's right. So this is what it looks like. It's a glass component with a plastic lid, and then inside is a pump. So that's nice. I prefer the pump. You have a lot more control. You don't just pour it and then it goes everywhere. It's a bit of a mess. So I'm going to pump some onto the back of my hand. There are some cat scratches, so don't mind those. Oh, you have to twist it to open it. It might take a while because I've not used it before. Here we go. One pump. I'm going to do 2 pumps because the first pump's always a bit small. I'm going to take my damp beauty sponge. It has got makeup on just from yesterday though, so not excessive amounts. So let's pat this on. I'm going to be looking over here because this is where my mirror is. It doesn't really smell of anything, and apparently it's quite buildable is what she said, so I really like that in a foundation because I don't need full coverage absolutely everywhere. Like I've said in other foundation first impressions, my forehead's generally quite clear and the skin is quite good. It's just mainly the cheeks and chin. I'm going to first start off by doing just this half because then you can really see what difference it's making. Okay, so there's one thin layer on half my face, and as you can see it has evened out my skin tone. I'm taking down quite a lot of the redness. I don't really think it's the right colour for me. I think it is a tiny bit too dark. There was a lighter shade, but the one was really adamant that it was bright white and that it was really ghostly, and I do find those sorts of words really annoying when people are trying to sell you makeup because I think it's quite offensive. And I think being pale is fine. But she was like, thought this would be best. And here we are. I would most probably mix it with something to make it a tiny bit lighter next time. I'm going to do the rest of my face. But so far I think the texture looks really nice. I've found since moving on to using a beauty sponge recently then I have to use so much more foundation. The Beauty sponge is wet, but I do have to use more foundation than when I use my brush, but I do prefer the finish of it. So it is a bit annoying. I don't know if I should go over with my brush and then just maybe pat over with this to get the best of both worlds. I've come across so many sales reps for companies that really do think being tanned is somewhat superior, and it's fine to have your preference, but when you're selling something, I think you need to take into consideration that it does have to actually suit the person. But then I also have to take responsibility because I did buy it. But like I said, it was tested down here and it looked okay on that area. So on closer inspection with a closer mirror, it does look really lovely. I'm going to do one more pump, well, like a half pump, with a tiny beauty sponge just to get really close around my nose and under my eyes, because I find the big beauty sponge might miss some of those areas. And as we know, I don't often wear concealer. I normally try and layer up the current foundation. Obviously if it doesn't, that is fine, but this one she did specifically say you can layer it. And it would seem you can. This is definitely adding more coverage, it's not taking off the first layer or anything like that, which is what can sometimes happen. And that's not the end of the world. If you're happy with the level of coverage that foundation provides, you might not need to layer it anyway. Like I said, I like to add more coverage in just select areas. Around my nose is where I have the most amount of pores, so I really do like to try and push the product in to help smooth out that texture. So what I have noticed is even like over my eyelids, normally foundation just keeps creasing until I set it with powder. It's not really creased a great deal, so it's setting quite well by itself. Around my nose, the pores do look very extreme. Hang on, I'll try and show you. My camera's not so good at these sorts of things. But I don't know if you can see around here, there's loads of pores. But on my cheeks, it does look smoother, so I don't really know. Okay, I think for today, because I'm also doing a makeup video after, I'm going to put a little bit of concealer on. I'm going to use one by Kat Von D. Just on my nose. I think it looks fine underneath my eyes. And again, it's not settled into the fine lines here and I haven't set it yet. And normally it does. Oh, this concealer is so white. It's the second shade, the first shade, L1, but yeah, there is white out, which is white. Oh, this might have been a bad idea. Okay, so that's weird. It has taken off the foundation. Oh no, I look really ridiculous. The foundation everywhere else has completely set, like it feels like it doesn't even need to be powdered. And it's not creasing anywhere. But that Kat Von D concealer just isn't working well with it at all, and it's taken off little sections here. Again, I'll try to show you a bit better, but I don't know if it'll work. Can you see here and here? And right on the tip of my nose. I just tried to layer more foundation over the top, and it's not working. It's annoying because actually it looks really good on my cheeks, other than the slight colour, slightly too dark. This concealer's just not compatible. I found that with other Kat Von D products, like her primer doesn't go well under loads of other foundations I have. I don't know what to do about these little darker patches. Can you see that right down the centre of my nose? It's just taken everything off. I think I'm going to have to start again because I've just tried a different concealer over the top. One by Bare Minerals, Stroke of Light, which I wouldn't normally use on the top of my nose, but I thought, no, I can't use this one again. And it hasn't helped. Nothing's like sticking to these areas where I put the Kat Von D concealer. Not even the Kat Von D concealer, so it's just taken everything off. So you can layer it to itself, but not other products. I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have to take the whole thing off and start again. So I'm going to wash it off, and I'm going to, so I keep looking at myself in the viewfinder to see if you can see what I can see, but I can't quite tell because I've got a ring light and it's all a bit bright. I'm going to take it all off and put it on and just not use concealer. And that's fine. And actually, I'm vlogging today and I was talking about how first impressions are sometimes a bit warped because you don't know the best combination of like moisturiser, primer, foundation and concealer, and some things just don't work well together. You know, like I mentioned, the Kat Von D primer works really well with her foundation, but with my Urban Decay one, it doesn't work at all. It starts to bead up and my foundation peels off my skin. But both of them are good products, I just can't mix the two. So maybe this is the same. You know, maybe their own concealer, the one in the little compact, would work really well over the top, but this Kat Von D one just seems to have melted the foundation underneath and nothing seems to be sticking to those bits of skin anymore. Which is a shame because the rest is feeling and looking lovely. So I get it back up to this stage with just the foundation and then I will be right back. Okay, we are back where we left off. This time I put it on with my Real Techniques foundation sponge and, not sponge, brush, and it went on really well. The same as before. I've not put any concealer on, as we've worked out that is a disaster, but it is really the wrong colour. I don't know if you can see on the back of my hand where I've put it, and if I compare my face to my neck and body, it's just the wrong shade. So it's really annoying because I did tell the woman that I am the lightest shade in all their other foundations, and she was like, I think you'll be number 2 in this one. But fine, whatever. I did go ahead and buy it. But this is actually really dark. You can see where it is compared to my skin, like where the leftover is where I've been applying the foundation. I've just lightly powdered with my Kat Von D setting powder, just really lightly with a big brush, just so that all the other products blend in well. Okay, so now that I've set my skin, it feels really lovely and soft. So ignoring the colour because it doesn't match, maybe I have to go around like this. It feels really lovely, it feels really soft. It's not creasing under my eyes or around my nose. It's so much better now. I don't know what was happening with that concealer combination. I am going to have to buy the lighter shade if I like how it wears, and maybe I can just mix the two together or something, because this is just not the right shade. Oh, my cat's going around eating everything, like bits that aren't food. What is this that you're eating? She's just finding tiny bits of string everywhere and nibbling on it. Stop it, little nibbly thing. Anyway, yeah, it feels lovely, not really tacky. It didn't really feel that tacky after the powder. I just always powder. I don't really trust not powdering it. Yeah, and I love the coverage and it does layer well. Like under the eyes, I think is fine. I don't think I really need any concealer. And as we know, it's not really an option. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and I will film that separately as a makeup tutorial, and then I will come back to you every few hours throughout the day to see how it's sort of wearing. It did say 24-hour wear, so we would hope that in a normal sort of like 10-11 hour day of wearing makeup for myself, that it should last that long without creasing or settling in any fine lines or rubbing off. If I do lightly rub my skin, nothing comes off on my hand, so that's quite a good sign. So yeah, I will be back in a little bit. So it's been another 2.5 hours since I applied this foundation, and it's looking okay. Hang on, let me get a closer mirror, one moment. So my powder products on my face blended out over the top really well, I think. Really smooth. It still feels very matte, no part of it is getting shiny. I'm only shiny where I applied highlighter. Oh, my cat's being too cute. It's not really creased much around my nose, which is good. And it's only creased lightly in my scars here. Normally they get really deep and there's like lines of foundation, and I'm used to that because that's just the texture of my skin. But so far, this hasn't settled into them too badly. A bit of the foundation did rub off where I leant my hand on to do my winged eyeliner, but it doesn't feel like it would transfer, so that's fine. I didn't want to risk trying to put more foundation over the top because we know it's a bit scary sometimes. yeah, overall I think it's looking fine. I am happy with the layer of coverage. I just wish the colour was a bit better at this point. But like we know, that's a mixture of my fault and the salesman's fault. I should have just stuck to my guns and been like, no, I need shade 1. I don't care if I'm ghostly white, but I didn't say that, so here we are. Yeah, I will catch up with you again at some point in a couple of hours to do a final check-in and see how it's looking. Hey guys, so it's about 6 hours later than last time I checked in, so about 8.5 hours since I applied the foundation, and I have to say it's still looking very good. It hasn't gone shinier anywhere else. It hasn't really oxidised, it was just the wrong colour right from the beginning. It's still a lovely semi-matte finish like it says. Down here it's creeped a little bit more into my fine lines, but it's okay, you know, I have eaten. I'm seeing some generally, like, you know, that's just the area of your face that moves the most and where I've got the most amount of scars. It hasn't worn off anywhere, it still feels very matte and soft. So overall I am very happy with it. I'll zoom you in so you can see this. I don't know if you can see sort of in here, like this line. That's where it's separating the most, and a tiny amount around my nose. So my overall verdict is that I like the finish. I think it looks very nice. I'm a bit concerned about the whole concealer scenario, and I'm going to have to go and speak to them and see what concealer they would recommend. It may probably be one of theirs, but I will get them to try it on me. I'll just go in with no makeup on because I don't want to waste my money, and then also buy the lighter finish because I do actually really like this foundation. Now that I know it lasts really well and looks really nice on the skin, it is just a different colour to my body. I don't really know if you can tell, but I can really see it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Take care, bye bye.